As you'll see on the MOX, performances are all about you. They're user. User means that you can customize them, and please do. We give you 2 banks of user performances, and these are totally customizable. You can recombine them, you can change the instruments, you can change the effects, make them your own. And performances can be stored in your user banks. If you ever want the factory banks back, you can load those in. When you go to the file utility, you'll have ways to load individual sounds or entire banks of sounds. So you can load back one performance or you can load back a bank of performances. Out of the box with the MOX, we give you 2 user banks of performances. All performances are user memory. Remember, user is totally customizable by you. So don't be afraid to overwrite or change any of these. There are plenty of ways to recall the factory settings. Yamaha has built into the keyboard a way in which you can restore anything that you've overwritten. Maybe you want it back later. There are ways to get the data back. So don't be afraid to change something. I get that question all the time. Will I lose the stuff from the factory? Well, no, you can always get that back. All right. The thing is, we want you to customize it. All performances are user memory and they are to be customized by you. Now, this is going to be a little bit about how to approach the performances and how to make them your own. And really to find out what they're doing and explore them. When you go in performance mode, the perform button is pressed. You'll see perf in the corner for performance. You can see here I'm on user 2, number 12, A12, which is something called bouncing HH. I'm sure it's an R&B category. It's modern. You can see here on the screen the tempo is 92 beats per minute. A lot of information in the screen. You have your 6 function buttons and sub-function buttons. I'm on the play screen. If I hit F2, I'm now looking at the voice screen. This will tell me what voices are involved in this particular performance. A performance is a combination of as many as 4 separate voices. And you have 4 separate arpeggios, by the way, so each voice could be under control of an arpeggiator, or you can choose to play some of them yourself. Now on this screen you can see that the part number 1 is something, it's a preset drum groove. It's a hip-hop kit number 4, and it's set on the side where it says note to play across the entire keyboard. Sound number 2 is something called more fatty, and I'm sure that's a bass sound. And once again, it's playing, again, across the keyboard. Electro codes and hip-hop nylon guitar is mapped to the right-hand side of the keyboard. And you can see quickly here, you can customize. Limit L is talking about the low note limit of a particular part. Limit H is the high note. So in other words, you can see that the hip-hop nylon guitar is only region to the upper part of the keyboard. Now what I can do, now on the right-hand side, you have the 16 buttons. These double and have different functions. Now when you're in performance mode, you have something called performance control. And you'll see that it retasks these 16 buttons. I'm going to light the performance control button. It lets buttons 1 through 4 now select a part. In other words, anytime I want to zero in on one of the 4 voices, I can select the number 1 through 4. You can see here, ARP on and off, that parts 1, 2, and 3 are under arpeggio control. And I can turn the ARPs on and off by doing that, by turning the lights off. All right. Part mute, I can turn a part mute or mute it from going to the audio output. So if I want to kill a part, I can do that quickly and easily. And you can see that ARP hold. In other words, I don't have to continue to hold a key for the arpeggio to continue. So I'm just going to strike a note here to get the performance going. We get an idea of what's going on with this particular groove. Now the right-hand sound is a nylon guitar. So if I select part number 4, all right, I can now set the note limit by holding note limit low and touching a key. You can see that I can change the region that this sound has effectiveness. If I want it to come all the way down to middle C, I tap there. So limit L is your low note limit, limit H is your high note limit. So this is how on the keyboard it is mapped. It's basically a movable split point. Alright, back on the main play screen is where I can select the different arpeggio patterns. I'm going to push subfunction 2 and I get a different groove. Go to arpeggio 3. So you can see that you can move back and forth pretty easily between these sections. So we talk about content. Now this can be something that can help you write a song. Now wouldn't it be great to be able to record all of this directly to the sequencer? And that's one of the next things we're going to show you. Customizing the arpeggios. You can go in, change the voice if you wish, change how it appears. You have portamento. Portamento is the ability to slide between notes. You can change the envelope. You can tighten things up. Let me give you an idea here. Let's just isolate the drums for a minute. And I can do that either by hitting solo and touching part 1, or I could use the mute function, right, to turn off the other parts and just leave part 1 selected. All right. AEG is amplitude envelope generator. And basically what this is, it controls how a sound changes in loudness over time. If I do something like change the decay, you can see how I can tighten up that drum sound. Very short and stingy. As I decrease decay, you get the full envelope. So customizing sounds, it's up to you, all right? It's your music. You can change it the way you like. You can add swing. You can offset things. Change the feel of it. You can see how you can have the offbeats either louder or softer. You can change the feel of the entire thing. You can very liquid. And now I'm affecting just the drums. Now let's bring in some of the other parts as well. So if I have the guitar in 4 and I want to adjust anything about the guitar, I select part number 4. In my upper left-hand corner, I have my 8 knobs, and you'll notice that there are 2 buttons, right, associated with a row of 4. This is 24 parameters that I now can apply that guitar part. All right? So if I need to change the volume of that guitar, you can see, and the screen will show me what I'm doing, tell me my original volume was 120, and it shows me the value that I'm changing, part 4. Alright, so let's say that bass sound something away there in part 2. What if I want to change the cutoff and the resonance? And you can see that I'm just affecting the bass. It tells me my original value, and it tells me what I've changed it to. Well, let's say I wanted to change the drums. I can select part number 1, and now the cutoff works on the drums. So recognizing which part you selected, the knobs will now affect that part. But let's say you wanted to affect the entire groove. Well, that's called common. What that does is now affect everything together. So now as I change cutoff and resonance, I'm doing it to all the parts together. Now, the next question, of course, that will come up is, can I record all of that? Well, absolutely. This is the idea. These are standard MIDI controls, and that's what it's all about. You can change the feel, the attitude of what's being played, because arpeggios are very liquid. You can change the voices that are being played in the particular performance. If I wanted to change that guitar to a different guitar, I just select part number 4, and I can do that either in the screen with my cursor arrows or by the direct part select button. And I can drop into category search and find any other guitar I might like. I like the one with the velocity, doing the scoop.